to do like six libraries total, and every show has been fun. People are always really kind, both the staff and of course the attendees, and there's just always like a good warm vibe at a library that actually works well for comedy. And um as a comic, I think it also could just be a benefit of a side benefit could be it could raise some money for the library. This is from my perspective, this is not meant to be a thing where I use a library's clout and or influence to then just be like, thanks for the fun show and see you later. I think libraries are one of the most important public institutions, and so on any small infinitesimal scale, I'd love to be able to, if possible, help with that and bring maybe a fun event to a library that typically people respond well to. And we try and run shows that are like PG-13. Maybe there's a couple F words, but we can also work with a venue or a library on if there are any constraints, whether it comes to beverages or any housekeeping stuff. And yeah, it's just been by and large awesome. So here to answer any potential questions and see what it could take to, my dream with this, to be honest with you guys, is I would really like to find a way to make a real tour out of this. And right now it sort of is like this really fun piecemeal iterations of it where oh, okay, I'm doing one with Bloomfield in a week, and we'll do one from time to time, and did one with Hoboken, and maybe that's an annual thing. I would really love for this to be like a bigger tour with them. Can link libraries together, and if it could be 8 to 12 cities, and heck, even if they're all in New Jersey or something, that's totally fine. And um, as a comic, I'm looking to figure that out. And currently, my uh, summer and fall are getting kind of booked, and so I'm thinking it might be really crazy in the future, but either late fall or, as crazy as it sounds, maybe early 2028. I think I am a comic who's also growing his own notoriety and might be able to become more of a larger draw in my own right as a comic. That couldn't hurt. But make no mistake, I'm not like saying, oh, I'm famous. Not that. I just mean, I have a couple really exciting projects that hopefully also allow me to get some butts in some libraries to laugh and raise money for a good cause. But it's not like you give me a fee to go to the library or anything. It's you know, admittedly, the one we're doing right now, currently in Bloomfield next week, is sparser on attendance at this current moment. And if whatever it ends up being, I'm happy to donate my night. Like if it ends up not raising quite as much capital, I'm not here to. I want this to be fruitful. You know, truly for libraries. So yeah, that's kind of the gist. And um, yeah, love to answer any questions or um, that's all. That's the end.
Well, well, and thank you. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate your interest in libraries. Like that is, a huge piece of this too. So what I thought we could do real quick is maybe since you kind of started, you could give a little like how it works on your end that you usually do. You hinted at it, but like how do you normally work with the libraries? How does the how do you bring in the comedians? How does the money work? The tickets, like the nuts and bolts kind of stuff.
Yeah, like usually I just set up an Eventbrite, and the Eventbrite, we can either do donation based tickets or there can be a set fee. Both work. Like sometimes it's nice for there to be a set fee because it just allows people to like kind of value a thing, but it also, the libraries are public institutions, and so it's not the worst thing to mirror that with a ticket price. Anyone can come into a library. That's a beautiful thing. So, like, in that way. if tickets are just straight donation based, if someone wanted to come, and they were strapped for cash, of course they should be allowed. So, but yeah, logistically, we would set up an Eventbrite. We could bring our own microphone and sound. We can bring our own lights. It's just kind of stands on lights. Um, Equipment, what we would maybe borrow from the library is perhaps an extension cord or two. Um, Chairs, we would probably need to use the library's chairs. And we could set up a show in kind of any pocket of the library. Don't need to move too much stuff around. Whether it be, I think at Bloomfield next week, I think your guys' is like underground theater which is awesome, is under construction, and so we'll probably Alex, Holly's coworker, will probably just do it in a corner of their library. So we would just help move stuff, a few chairs before the show, set it up, and then happy to help, take it down. Setup takes us like 45 minutes to set the mics and stuff. So, yeah, pretty. I think it's a pretty light lift in terms of what we need. Bringing our own sound and lights, and comics are comics I would book, who are young, great up and comings or working professionals. It's a professional show, and so I think you want to give the audience, the fun of comedy and trying to book different people and let audiences see 3 to 4 just different voices. And so yeah, that's kind of some of the logistics related stuff.
And thanks for that. And I'll put, note to that too. I feel like what you described is super helpful for libraries actually, because like there's really minimal that the library needs to do. You're bringing a microphone and the lights if needed, and the library provides like the space and like chairs and things. Almost every library can do that. Some libraries there's like oh, do we need sound equipment? Do we need like a mixing board and all this other stuff? Not necessary. You can make it as simple or as complex as possible, as
Yeah,
needed.
stand up is very simple. It's a microphone and a speaker, and the speaker does need to have a button. We have the speaker. In fact, I don't want a lot of knobs because it's like just make it sound clear. I don't know. So yeah, it is very easy show to set up. Um, yeah.
And then generally, has it been your case too, like where as far as like the how the profits from the tickets goes and paying the performers, right? Like an even
Yeah.
split is generally a good rule, or
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know what the exact breakdown is, but take the show we did at Hoboken about a month ago. It was I paid all us comics like a flat rate. It just to be like blunt with numbers and on the in the interest of being transparent. I think the show had about $2,000 in revenue, and after paying the comedians and any transit, it was a $1,200 $800 split. Library gets 1,200. We took 800. I think I paid myself 250. I paid Brittany, the other co-headliner, 250. I played a host 100, another host 100, or another comic on the show 100. And then I think the photographer cost, and also like they paid for my parking. But yes, and so like, but from my own end, if a show generates less revenue, me as a performer, am I try and work on it on like a good faith basis where like if a show raised less money, I would still want a library to see it as a financial W. And so yeah, I guess there's not, I've never delineated an official amount. I can't remember exactly, Matt, how it worked with Ramsey. I believe it was like also financially successful. I don't remember the exact
oh,
number,
definitely.
but it might have been a similar kind of breakdown. But yeah, so
I hope I didn't mind put you on the spot, like, oh, this is the exact number it's going to work for
no,
every
no, no, no,
library.
no, no, no.
But
It wasn't that way at all. No, no, no. And yeah, so I can't ever say an exact number, but like take if the show hadn't sold quite as much, I'm like, maybe I would have taken just less. And I would probably try and get my comics paid minimum 25, $50. Um, if you know, but yeah, it's something that I think is always just transparent. Send in the screenshot of the Eventbrite. I'm a I'm a trustworthy person who's not trying to steal money from libraries. That might not be. That's not the best reputation boost, but yeah.
But you've
So
got several libraries here that can vouch,
I
yes,
mean,
definitely for you. Did a great job. And
you don't want to get librarians on your shit list.
you
Bad
know,
karma.
we're very chill people and less
Yes.
roused. So
Another way to think of this beyond like the financial, fundraising aspect is that it brings people into your library that normally will not come to your library. We saw tons, especially at the first show. Bret has a YouTube video of the work he did here with Bloomfield. I'll put it in the chat if people want to see it. Um, oh,
Yeah.
maybe
Holly opens the show, by the way. It just felt
I do.
fun. It felt fun to have, and Holly kindly gave her permission. It felt fun to include it because it almost just became like, hey, this was just this fun, raucous, great show that we did at Bloomfield.
Yeah, it was really fun. And we probably had about somewhere between like 50 and 70 people at that show.
Yeah, probably around that. Yeah.
Um, it was a great turnout. People had a great time. That was through Don't Tell Comedy. And the turnout was wonderful. We saw a lot of people that we hadn't seen at the library before. It was a great way for us to kind of show off the library. Um, there are benefits beyond fundraising that I think are really, really important for libraries right now. You're going to definitely draw in a younger crowd, a little bit more of a hipper crowd than what we might normally get at the library. So that's pretty cool.
It was cool. The Don't Tell is a great, organization, and yeah, I think their iteration was less the fundraising side of it, but it was more like I don't know how it worked. They may have rented the room, or
Yeah, that was
I,
basically just an event. I mean,
yeah,
they kicked us back like a couple $100, but we didn't set out to do it as a major fundraiser. We set out to do it as, oh, this is a great opportunity to bring something to the library that not everybody was doing at their libraries. Sometimes we end up competing with each other, especially for those of us that have libraries that are sitting on top of other local libraries, very close by. Um, it was something new to do with getting new people into the library and just kind of like breaking ground on something completely different to our normal service model.
yeah, I would absolutely say the exact same thing for Ramsey. We had such a great time with it, and we saw people that had never come to the library, as well as some of our regulars, of course. But I got a lot of people like in their 20s to 40s, and like, mom and dad, young parents or something that like just wanted to get out, especially in my area, like Ramsey, where you might have to go a little ways to get like a comedy show or get like something like that. You could go to the library, and this was a great opportunity to just have something fun. You don't have to travel very far, and it gets mom and dad out of the house to like have a fun time and like just relax and chill. So that really worked. In fact, I had people who told me that they literally were so close to my building that they walked here and had never been since they were kids,
Yep,
and they were all
same,
parents.
same. We had people come who said, I haven't been to the library since I was, 10 years old, and now they're 35.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Exactly. So, like, we got people we had never seen before, and a good chunk of them have continued to come back, especially for stuff that's like this. Like, oh, now they're looking at the library for like, oh, what are you guys doing? That was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it kind of broke open our adult programming, thinking about how we serve young adults better. People say 45 and under, 50 and under, and as opposed to our usual, seniors that come every day.
Mm.
And it really opened up some new ideas for us of kind of unconventional programming, that's just kind of rocketed, where we get good attendance at programs that are designed for younger people that cater more to their interests, not just, our usual, book clubs, cookbook, cooking, knitting, the stuff that we've always been doing forever. Now we're doing stuff like, paranormal and tarot card reading and, tea pairings and all kinds of strange new things that people
Wow,
love.
that's really cool.
So it helped Bret's show that we did and working with Bret. You'll see some other work we did with Bret in his video. It really kind of like kicked up our programming a notch too. So that was really nice.
It was, yeah,
And,
that was a really special one. That one was really cool. They've
and
all been always fun. Like I feel very lucky that like every one of them has been a good time. The highest I've or the farthest I've been out of New York. I almost said highest, but I'm like, wait, it's actually south. Delaware. I did one in Newcastle, Delaware.
Nice.
The Newcastle Public Library. And that one was outside. We did that one outside. It was, I think, last summer. And it was a beautiful night. And it was just like, let's do this outside. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great vibe.
yeah, and that's awesome. Like, and if you have a good venue like that, with like an amphitheater or something like that, like already built in, that's perfect for this.
Mhm.
But if you don't, you could do something like we did at Ramsey, which I think worked out great. And Brett and the comedians were able to make this work because I have this. So we did it in our children's room, which he had recently renovated, and all of our shelves are movable. So we moved everything and like did lighting up and did it all up like so it looked cool. But like I have this area that was a custom built thing that's supposed to be for story time, and it looks like a stage, but it is built for children. And
That was a
they were
great
gonna like,
one.
oh no, we'll stand on that. I'm like, you sure? Like, so the platform's like this big, but it was a perfect place for them to be showcased. I was just worried, like, oh, geez, you're gonna fall like off of this thing.
Yeah.
Comedians are low maintenance. You could have had it leaking on the stage and comics are like, that's fine. Like what
You might get that at Bloomfield, just saying.
hey,
Some libraries, a
whatever.
flat roof or something, no
Yep.
good.
So
But for our children's room one too. Again, it was cool because we put in the children's room. I think we had 86 people for it. So that was our first
Nice.
try out. I mean, 86 people
That's
and
amazing.
barely fit in the room. It was great. I will say there was one element that I think is an important piece of this,
yeah.
and that is at making it a BYOB event, at least
Yes.
for and that's how I've done that fundraiser. And I've done other fundraisers that are not comedy events, but they are meant for adults. They're all BYOB. I have one tomorrow, actually.
Oh cool.
That's music bingo that is run by me. And we're
Oh
doing different
nice.
things there.
Nice.
Yeah, it should be fun. Um, but I think that BYOB piece is kind of a big part of it because again, it really adds to that night out for mom and dad or for your younger adults, that kind of thing. And I can give you this tip because I've gotten this question a lot. If you are doing BYOB, this is on the like permit side of things. I thought that you probably needed a social affairs permit from the state, which I had done for previous things. I had done like mini golf in the library and like we were serving things, and so we got that permit. However, if it's if you're serving or if it's like part of the price where you're providing alcohol, yes, you need the social affairs permit, which takes a little time and costs a little money that you have to send to the state. But for BYOB, you do not need a social affairs permit. You do not need a permit from the ABC board at all. And the reason I learned this is because I got 90% the way through the permitting process, and then they actually called me and like, hey, we're about to like put this through, but we want to confirm you're just doing BYOB, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you don't actually need a permit from us for that. What it is meant is you need a local okay from your mayor and council, basically.
Yep.
So it's going to be different for each town. You check your rules, talk to your town administrator or whoever you might need to. For me, it was relatively easy. So it may not be for everybody, but I sold it to my library board. I got my friends on board, and then it happens to be that my mayor actually does attend my board meetings, which is helpful, but that's not everybody's case. And our council liaison also was there, and they were both on board. I basically said, "Hey, can I do this?" Like a week or two later, I got a copy of the resolution that says, "Oh, you're all good to go." And for me, they didn't actually tell me like, "Oh, you need to do this or that or whatever to check IDs and anything like that." They just said, "Oh, you're good."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Bloomfield
did my due.
operates that way too. It's the Wild West over here in Bloomfield. You know, we're a city, there's 55,000 people. There's not a lot of time for like this big discussions. They're like, yeah, sure, go do what you want. Well,
And
at
you may find
the first one, to be fair, that don't that we had through Don't Tell Comedy, they advertised it as BYOB, but we didn't know that at first. So in this video, you'll see me standing in front of everybody saying, like, I don't see anything. Take your containers with you. I don't know anything
Holly
because
got the, yep.
because everybody was in the audience, you know, pulling out their, you know, their cans of you know, Truly and stuff, and I was like, oh my God. So we just kind of flew with it. It went fine.
Yeah.
You know, it
No
wasn't
one
a big
gets
deal.
too crazy. I'm happy to say there's never been we're a library, like no one's like pounding them back
yeah.
and then it's just like a slobbering mess. Yeah, yeah, that was
No.
yeah, Holly got that was so funny. Holly, you like made a joke of it and it was like you got the first big laugh of the show. It was kind of
I'm
and
famous now.
yeah. And it's always
That's
nice to, a librarian, it's a great thing when they're always welcome to promote events at the library at the show, like to start the show. Um, kind of goes without saying, but just to clarify. It's
yeah,
interesting
for
to learn
sure.
about the license stuff, the BYOB, and like you have to get permission like officially, and makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I figured I'd give those other very library specific things for
Yeah.
those looking to actually run that, you know. Um, and I thought I'll give a quick just of what we did, and I don't know if Holly want to do anything for anything else you added to the event. So like you can just do it as a comedy. I think you'll be totally fine. Comedy and BYOB, you're perfect there. We added a little bit of like we added a food element, so like we had some food for sale and some other we have like merchandise that we have like and to add try to add to things. So we had like a whole room that was like on the side that people could get their food and do whatever. And I will give this is one that Brett gave me too. No snacks that make a lot of noise. And think about that, right? You don't want somebody busting open their chips or something, crunch, 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 while the comedian's trying to make jokes.
Yeah.
So we had like, soft things that don't make noise.
Just cookie dough.
Just a big cookie. You just grab a handful of it and just eat it like this.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
but that is
yeah.
actually an important tip, though, I think.
Yeah, maybe the bag can be a little, not a huge deal, of course. You usually just make a joke of it. It's not a big deal. Something to just be aware of, but not a big deal.
Yeah. But you can like the food in general though, and adding those other pieces uh can be another attraction. We did that for a subsequent one, which I would, next time we have Brett, which we'll do that definitely again. I may have something different. Like on another fundraiser, we made our own chocolate fountains and people that was part of the ticket price. And you could, do the cool things with chocolate fountains, and then we had other foods. We for tomorrow's fundraiser, we have one where we have a local business that's sponsoring it and is providing the food for free, and we're like making them their title of the fundraiser, like putting their name in there. So like you might be able to work with your local businesses to really cut down on the costs, but like increase your interest by adding those extra things that like, oh, not only do you get the comedy, but you get this little food and you get whatever. And you know, I think we did add one extra element for the comedy fundraiser. We added, or did we, or was that with the next one? I'm now confused. We purchased like little cups that were like um branded cups that were like giveaways. You bought your ticket, you got like Ramsey Library Comedy Night 2025, and you take it home, and it's just a cheap little something, but people like that kind of thing. So those little elements, some of those can increase your cost, but you get your business sponsorships, and our friends sponsor all of our events or these kinds of fundraisers too. So if you have a friends or a foundation, they can be really helpful for cutting up some of those costs or helping you get business sponsorships, that kind of thing. So just thought I'd throw that in there. And I don't know how, Holly, how did you do yours? Do you have any interesting pieces that are different than that?
No, we generally do, you know, pretty much the same things. Unfortunately, I don't have a very active friends and foundation. We technically have both, but neither one of them are especially helpful. So we don't have access to the type of fundraising stuff that like you or Jenny, especially Jenny, might have. But that has never affected our success in terms of the event itself. I would love to be able to have more things available, you know, as fundraisers or library, you know, swag to give away. I just don't have access to the funding for that without a lot of difficulty. So for me, it's more of a time sensitive thing, but it's a great idea. And if you have access to that at your library, I would highly recommend it. Anytime you give people stuff for free, they're all over that. People love free
Exactly.
shit.
People love free shit.
I should advertise it, right? And next time, like, everybody that comes gets to take a free book with them or something like that.
Right.
Wow.
Dude.
Who knew?
Who would have thought?
There's really no downside
to
to having this type of event. Like, I can't think of anything that would like preclude any library from giving it a go. You know, it doesn't matter what space you have. I mean, my first one was in our theater. I have a full theater in the basement of my children's library. It has a stage, it has lighting, it has a sound system. That was great. But the one I'm having on Friday, my children's library is closed for renovation right now, and it's just going to be in the middle of the damn library. You know, that's not stopping us from having it. Bret is aware of our situation. He's like, we'll make it work. So, you know, even if you're in a smaller library or a space that doesn't really have like a public gathering space, just do it. Just throw it out there. You know, any publicity, in my opinion, any publicity to get people into the library is positive publicity. Whether you get 10 people or you get 100 people, it's still great.
I do totally agree. As a comic, I can also attest to like, obviously you always love when there's more attendance, but some amazing shows can happen where, yeah, it isn't a crazy attendance, but the vibe is great, the energy is nice, and it doesn't have to be. Always happy to have more, but some great comedy shows can happen with literally 8 people. Like it's how it can happen. So I appreciate you saying that. Only downside is I am a diva, and
this is true. Can confirm.
Huge diva. I'm like Diana Ross, and but other than that, I think it's a really fun, chill event, and yeah, I would love the opportunity to keep expanding the libraries I get to work with and meet more great people in the space. And yeah, I'm just so appreciative of Matt for organizing this, and Holly as well for working with me on several shows over the years. And so yeah.
Awesome. Oh, there's my phone. I'll hang up on them. Don't need.
I'm busy.
Don't need to talk to patrons. Oh my gosh. No, but so I don't know if either of you have any other thoughts. Otherwise, I thought we got about 20 minutes left. We could open up for any questions that anyone might have. I think the main question that we got from online was about the return on investment, which we kind of really covered, I think, pretty significantly. I can say if that person's here for Ramsey, I think that I looked it up. Our total gross was like 2,100, and I think we got like 1,100. So like, listen, like that pays for a small, unique collection or like some sort of unique service or something. And again, I think you get a ton more value, like Holly was saying, out of like the uniqueness of the event and like that surprising people with something that's happening at the library that they didn't expect, which I love doing. So this was a perfect thing for us.
I have this dream of getting one big ticket donor who just like gets a ticket for 10 grand.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that won't happen. I've had someone get a ticket for like maybe $100, which is like, oh, that's really nice. But yeah, hopefully one day there's just one, person who's done okay financially and just it's like, why not just give a crazy?
Yeah, and any money that you make doing an event like this is money you wouldn't have had, whether it's a couple $100s or a couple $1,000s. And the price of getting people into your library to me is worth more than the money, especially in a city like Bloomfield, where we're an urban library. Getting people into the library isn't always easy in an urban setting, but they come. Danielle has a question.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question for Matt. Being that you've been doing other types of fundraisers as well, so those who came to the comedy, have you noticed that they've been coming to those fundraisers as well because there's kind of similar events because they're BYOB and they offer activities?
Yes. So I did think that because we did, so the next one we did was like a winter social. And that was, we had activities around the building that was like, oh, in the stacks you could play, a cornhole, or there was different food. And I transformed one of our rooms into like a 1980s video game room. Believe it or not, with like my actual old Nintendo and Super Nintendo. But I have noticed definitely there's been overlap. It's not always the same people, but I have noticed a few people that came to the comedy night that I had not seen before that then came to the social as well. And I think they have been back once or twice at least to start using the library. Not everybody, um, but there has been some overlap. Now, again, that was a kind of different event as well, right? So it's like activities around, it's kind of a hangout, and there's food versus a comedy night, which is like very specific. So there is some that I bet if I did the comedy night again, I think I would get a lot of the same people, but I'd probably get new people as well. I feel like the comedy night was even more new people than the other one that I
Yeah,
did.
same for us. We get different people every time. We do get people who love comedy and will come out for comedy, but I see different faces.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I feel like I'm probably getting a similar one for what I'm doing on fr tomorrow. The only difference there is that I've been doing music bingo at my library for a while, and they've been essentially like asking me to do it as a fundraiser. So I might have a built-in audience for that. Um, but anybody wants to come, they should come. But so yeah, I think there's some overlap, but it is different based upon the different types slightly, if that answers your question in a rambling fashion. It's only my third coffee. Um, any other questions? Don't be shy. Feel like free to put them in the chat if you want to.
Mhm.
Um, let's see.
Seriously though, just give it a go.
Yeah, I really
That's my
would just
attitude
say
about
go
stuff.
for it.
My attitude
Um,
about programming is just give everything a go. The worst that can happen is that it's not successful, but you don't really lose anything doing an event like this. Um, it's not like you're out all kinds of money or, basically it's your staff time and your social media.
that's mostly it. Yeah. Um, oh, and we see Tyler. Thanks you. Thanks so much for this. We loved having Brett at the Hoboken Public Library. Woo!
Nice.
Heck yeah. Great people
So
there.
I know Hoboken did like 100 people each time or something like that.
About that, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a good number.
It was a
So
great number, yeah.
And I feel like obviously like your urban areas, like a Hoboken is a perfect place for this kind of event. But I feel like places like Ramsey is also like a great place for this because there's nothing like that around this area. You have to travel far to go for like New York City comedians or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you can bring it here and they will be like, wow, this is really cool. Let me go to that. So I think it works in just about every setting.
Yeah, and
So
Bloomfield could not be any different than Hoboken. Or Bloomfield is also urban, but it's not wealthy. We don't really have a large wealthy section.
Mm-hmm.
It's more middle class and working class. But for the price of a movie ticket, they can go see a live performance. And these are not people who are going to hop on the train and go into the city to see a comedian, and drop $150 per person on the same thing. So it gives people exposure to something that they might enjoy and only see on Netflix or something like that. And they get to see a live show.
yeah, again, that is a great point. Like, the value you're getting, like say a $25 ticket or something
Yeah.
is huge. Like, think about again, that's easily you can spend two tickets for a movie theater is more than that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like you're getting great value for that. And if you add those little other pieces, like I can't see why people wouldn't be really interested in attending. So, well, um, any other thoughts or questions or any other thoughts from Holly or Brett?
I appreciate the opportunity to potentially work with anyone else. Yeah, thank you so much for writing that. I would love to work on dates with folks. I can't actually tell how many people are on this chat for the moment. So, is there a way I can either I write people's emails and contact you, or do people just want to send me an email that says, shoot me an email? What is easiest for you guys to so that we can maybe get dates on the calendar, whether it's later this year in kind of a fall or alternatively, you know, not to is it crazy to plan spring of 2027 like February March ish? So I'm open to people. Matt, what do librarians prefer? If I shoot them an email, is that easier for folks? Like,
It's a little bit of both,
okay,
probably.
just
But
trying
like,
to.
I would say you want me to drop your email into the chat right now, so if anybody wants to grab it,
Sure, I'll just write
or
it right here, please. That would be awesome.
because like, yeah, I think then you could shoot. People can contact you. That would be perfect. And actually, I think probably a lot of libraries, everyone's almost, I would assume, done with their summer planning. So you're on to like fall at this
Totally.
point.
No, totally.
And
Not
then
nothing in the summer. To be honest with you, I'm very excited. Not to self plug. I'm in an off Broadway play coming out in mid June to mid July, and then I go from there to I'm doing a USO tour for the troops in the
Nice.
southeast of U.S. and some Caribbean islands. So I'm
wow.
booked for summer. Come to my play. I'll invite you guys. If I've met you personally, I'll shoot you an email. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's enough self promotion. So yeah, potentially fall or spring 2027 or late winter 2027. Yeah, early winter
Well,
2027.
and you know what I think I'll give a last thought too, because like that time frame, um, like January and February are great times for fundraisers because you're past the holidays and you're
Mm,
before a lot of stuff starts with like school stuff. And there's like people are kind of like done with the holidays, but they're not necessarily on vacation. So like that's when I've done bigger fundraisers and had a great opportunity. So like January, February
oh,
could be a
interesting.
great time actually for that.
Yeah, late January, early February. Yeah,
Everybody wants to get the hell out of the house too. That time of year, they're looking for something to do. Everybody's
yeah.
bored.
You get cabin
Exactly.
fever. Yep, yep.
And like, oh, I just need to stay in my house where my kids live. That's oof. That's so good.
We had a lot of parents at that show, Matt, that we did together. I particularly remember talking to a lot of young parents.
We did, and that was, I think, that was my because Ramsey, it's a lot of young parents and like young families and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think there was a definite need for like mom and dad to just get out and like have a good time, babysitter with the kids, and just have a great fun Friday night and not have to go far or spend much. So it was like perfect. So. All right. Well, unless there's anything else, I guess we'll wrap this up so everyone can get back to their desks and for the kids to come out and get you from school. As I assume they're descending or will be descending on your libraries very shortly. So thank you all for coming, and thank you to Holly and to Brett one more time for a fantastic
My
thing and for
pleasure.
coming and doing this today.
Pleasure's all mine. I can't thank you guys enough. And thank you for potentially working with me, and thank you also for being librarians. It's a dope thing.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna stop recording now.